new thinking, new possibilities.
Europa League match day 5 tomorrow, kicking off with Sparta Prague v Southampton. Manchester United tackle Feyenoord. Our live coverage starts at 7:30, and then for a look back at all of the night's drama, our highlight show follows from 10:15.
This programme is brought to you by Heineken and PlayStation, UEFA Champions League sponsors.
Good evening and welcome to BT Sport, the home of the UEFA Champions League. Tonight sees a straight shootout in Group A for top spot between Arsenal and PSG. Who will secure that all-important first place, which should lead to a smoother journey in the last 6... Arsene Wenger and his Premier League title contenders Arsenal take on Ligue 1 holders Paris Saint-Germain. With the reverse fixture having ended all square, the Gunners would remain in the driving seat even in the case of a goalless draw. PSG are yet to beat Arsenal in European competition and have won only one of their 8 games on English soil. It's Arsenal against Paris Saint-Germain for top spot in Group A. This one kicks off live here on BT Sport 3 in 45 minutes' time. So with both sides already through, it is all about top spot at the Emirates tonight. Both these sides haven't lost a game in the Champions League yet this season. And joining me in the studio, Ian Rice and Michael Owen. And Ian, Arsenal have so often in the past paid the price for not topping the group. Just how crucial is it that they end that streak?
It would be nice for them to end the streak, and coming off the form that they've been in, I know it's been a bit disappointing. I think the performance against Tottenham was disappointing, and I think Man United was disappointing, but they have not lost. They're still on an unbeaten run, and it would be nice if they could finish off the top of the group. I know that Arsenal have lost to teams that are not the best teams in the Champions League, the Olympiacos and the Monacos of this world, but it would be good for them to finish top and see where they go from there. It's still going to be tough, whatever happens.
Absolutely. Well, they're level on points heading into this one, both on 10 points apiece, having secured their qualification to the knockout stages. Michael, how much of a difference do you think it actually makes? Certainly this season, they could still end up facing Real Madrid or Dortmund, who of course had that amazing win last night. Bayern Munich have lost earlier on this evening as well, so they could face them even if they top the group, or Atletico.
Well, there's still a little bit to go, isn't there, in the group stages, so we're not sure entirely who's going to be top in the groups and second in the group, so we can't make that conclusion yet that it's going to be an automatically easier game. In recent seasons, you would say that the big boys have hit the top and they've been playing against the teams in second place, but we're not quite sure. We're just assuming, but one thing is for sure, if you finish top, then you'd expect to get a slightly easier game, let's say that. But it's all, as soon as you get to the knockout stages, it's all hard in the Champions League.
And I guess if you do get a horrible draw, no one then blames you, whereas if you finish second and draw one of the top teams, people just say, well, it's your own fault.
Yeah, but saying that, you know, even going into this game, is I'm a little bit worried simply because it's going into November. Everybody's talking about Arsenal's November. And they've gone into a game against Spurs, like I mentioned earlier. They didn't play very well. Man United didn't play very well. And this is another game they mentioned as a big game in November that you really do need Arsenal to just put in a good performance. You need a couple of the players to perform really well tonight to really put down that marker and win this group.
And tell us what it's like to play against PSG on a big European night. The last time they played in North London was the European...
I found it pretty easy, Liz.
Those were the days, Righty, weren't they? 1994. Take us back to the Cup Winners' Cup semi-final.
Yeah, it was unbelievable. We had a great run. You know, they had some super players. Ginola was flying that night. George Weah in their side. They had a really, really good side, and we, like I say, we were really holding on to a bit in that game. And then at home, you know, Kevin Campbell came up with the goods. You know, Lama beating Bernard there at the near post, but it was one. I honestly, I got suspended in that game. It was a nightmare.
We didn't put the yellow card in. We didn't want to hurt your feelings. Bittersweet for you.
But it was fantastic. You know what I mean? Playing at that level. I know that the Cup Winners' Cup's gone now, but you know that European, the Highbury was amazing. It was brilliant playing against great players. It was fantastic.
And what about that first tie, Michael? Arsenal got off to the worst possible start. Is this similar to the Man United game in a way that they didn't...
That you could say about Arsenal. They're staying in games, aren't they? I mean, this game, it could have been 2, and that's obviously a scoreline that you don't want. But while it's still 1-0, you're always in the game, as they proved again at Old Trafford at the weekend, even if someone's dominant against you. And that goal there, you know, you thought at the time that could be a really important goal, and obviously depending on the result tonight, but it was a huge goal, you know, and obviously on the opening day of the Champions League as well. You don't want to get beat, so especially away from home. So yeah, it was a big goal, and hopefully they make it count tonight.
A huge result. Okay, let's bring you right up to date with the team news. Natalie Quirk is pitchside.
Well, Arsene Wenger makes 4 changes to the side that managed to salvage a point against Manchester United at the weekend in this winner-takes-all encounter. No Bellerin, no Perez and no Cazorla, of course, through injury. Aaron Ramsey didn't train yesterday, but he partners Francis Coquelin in midfield. Theo Walcott is on the bench. Olivier Giroud, who the manager says doesn't see simply as an impact player, well, he starts just his second game this season, the scorer of 4 goals in his last 4 games. Iwobi also in the starting 11. In terms of PSG, well, they were given a huge blow yesterday when their defender Aurier was denied entry to the UK. A huge influence in that first leg. But the big news tonight as well is that Di Maria and Javier Pastore also don't play. They were subbed off in their league game at the weekend through injury. Thought they'd be okay tonight. They don't even feature on the bench. So the pressure clearly on Cavani, scorer of the opening goal, of course, in the first leg, but missed several opportunities. He was rested at the weekend. He is fresh and up front for this one, Lindsay.
Thank you very much, Natalie. So there we have the formation. Then Giroud gets a start tonight. Sanchez also in the side. There was some speculation he may get a rest this evening. Also a massive game, though, to rest him in. What's the surprises in that team for you, Ian?
Well, I think that it's good to see Giroud get a start. I think that he's deserved a start with the way he's been really intensified coming off the bench, and we've seen him score goals coming off of there. But I think Iwobi, it's a big game for Iwobi. And seeing Ramsey playing in a position where I thought maybe someone like Xhaka might have played. It's a natural position for him. That's what we bought him to play that role. But Ramsey's, you know what I mean, Ramsey's playing in a position that you have to say is not a position that is what he made his name for. But, you know, Arsene likes him. And I'd like to say, you know, you've paid that money for Xhaka. Let's see in these big games, let's see him play. But I think that's as strong a team as Arsenal put out, and I'm quite confident in that team.
And the PSG lineup there missing their first choice fullbacks, both sides. Obviously, Aurier not allowed into the country, so Meunier starting, Maxwell as well. But the big miss, Michael, is Di Maria for them. Yeah,
they've got 1 or 2 injuries, which will be a worry for Unai Emery. But it's still a team full of quality. I've always thought the midfield trio has been very strong in this team. As I say again, 1 or 2 players missing in that type of area, but you know, there are some great players there, and I think a couple of seasons ago people were getting really excited about Paris Saint-Germain, thinking they could be, you know, Barcelona, Real Madrid, and I think they've just proven for a year or so that they're not at that level. They're the level below, but it's the same sort of level as Arsenal. That everyone's trying to get to that Barcelona, Bayern Munich type of standard, and I think that these 2 teams with a little bit extra, they can possibly get there.
OK, well, a big night on at BT Sport. Plenty coming up. Our focus is on Arsenal against PSG, but 6 live games for you. As you can see, Bayern Munich lost in Russia to Rostov 3-2 tonight. So a huge result there for the Russian side. Bayern Munich will have to fight it out for top spot against Atletico. Benfica leading Besiktas at the moment 3-1. Manchester City will look to book their spot in the last 16 there at Gladbach, live on BT Sport 2. Draw would be enough for City if Celtic lose at home to Barca in the other game in Group C. That one is live on ESPN and in 4K. Here though in North London, Arsenal fans arriving, hoping to see the Gunners finish top of their group for the first time since the 2011-12 season and hopefully avoid more last 16 heartbreak.
This programme is brought to you by Heineken, UEFA Champions League sponsor.
Much anticipated series.
It's all-out cricket with BT Sports.
Wow. Edge, and he's got one. Smacks it out of the park. Oh, excellent catch. Oh, knocked him over. Nicely played. So dangerous. Take it beautifully. Oh, down.
Oh, so easy.
Australia, South Africa, the 3rd test, only on BT Sports.
Superb.
What's going on here?
No idea. Happens to me all the time lately.
Hey, Casanova.
The new Mocha X with Wi-Fi hotspot for up to 7 devices. It's your life. Go drive it.
Let her know how special she is. With a Forever Diamond exclusively from H. Samuel. Each certified diamond features our unique flower cut with 73 facets to give exceptional sparkle. When there's something special to say, H. Samuel helps you say it better.
Big game today. It's getting a bit tense. Take your mind off it with this great offer.
Get your mobile out.
Let's sort of this.
Download the Coral app and check out our great offers.
Please bet responsibly.
It's the performance challenge. Duracell versus leading zinc batteries. With zinc, he's already out of power. But one Duracell could last up to 10 times longer. To perform stronger and bring your Disney frozen toys to life. Duracell Ultra Power. Stronger power for up to 10 times longer.
Do you know what you could be living on when you retire?
That is not good. I actually can't live off that. This is a wake-up call, isn't it, really? I just didn't think about it. I don't think most people do think about it, so I'm going to do something about it.
See what your future could look like with our online tool.
Comment vous allez là?
Je sais pas.
On m'appelle comment?
Named after a star. Originally brewed for Christmas. Enjoyed ever since.
This programme is brought to you by PlayStation, the UEFA Champions League sponsor.
Welcome back to North London. Arsenal's focus is on top spot. Olivier Giroud starts up front for Arsenal tonight. Alexis Sanchez also in the side this evening. Aaron Ramsey playing in holding midfield alongside Coquelin with Xhaka on the bench this evening. So the French champions, their opponents, and by their own high standards, PSG have had a shaky start to the season, but they're unbeaten in 9, and Emery says his side are a better team than when they faced the Gunners back in September.
Oh, it's brilliant, just brilliant. He has a fourth on the stroke of half-time. It's a Cavani. It's the perfect start for Paris Saint-Germain.
Monaco have a third goal tonight. PSG down and out now.
This is Lucas. Paris Saint-Germain make the breakthrough. Renier. Oh, what a goal.
All 3 points and qualification for Paris Saint-Germain.
Well, Edison Cavani waited 3 seasons, Ian, to be first choice striker for PSG. He's got 15 goals.
Yeah.
He was League One Player of the Month for October, but he's still coming in for some criticism. Is it fair, do you think?
I think, you know, he's scoring goals, and, you know, when you look at his record, look, he's played 15, scored 15. Yes, you know, he's missed a lot of chances, and I remember in the first game against Arsenal, he missed a lot of chances. Like, some of the times you look at him when the chances come to him, this one I was very surprised because he's normally very good when he's in there. He doesn't have to think too much. But this one, these are the kind of chances you're thinking he's got to take for a striker of his quality and his calibre. But
if we look there, it is chance conversion ratio compared to other players down at 39%. You can see why he is coming under that criticism. It feels like he's nearly a great player.
Yeah, but what happens is that we've seen him have the days where, in that first game, he missed about 4 very, very good chances, not half chances, good chances. So he can have one of them days, Mike, where all of a sudden it all goes right for him, and he can nick 4 goals in a game.
I think the point with him as well is he makes so many chances. I don't think that I've seen, or there's not many players on the planet now that I think move better than him. His diagonal runs, the way he stays on side. Yeah. Some of those I'm watching him miss, but I'm also watching thinking that is such a brilliant run. Yeah. He creates so many chances. I mean, in the first leg, right, he you know, Ospina obviously saved about 3 or 4 chances from him. He creates chances, and a lot of that's down to his movement.
And if you put those chances away, PSG probably would need to win tonight to secure a top spot. Well, we're going to talk defence now, so let's bring in Martin Keown, who's commentating for us tonight at pitch side. Martin, PSG not only lost Ibra, but also David Luiz in the summer, but their defensive record, 5 clean sheets in the last 6 games. That pairing of Marquinhos and Thiago Silva looking pretty rock solid at the moment.
Very much so. Marquinhos is a player that I really like. Reminds me of William Gallas. He's very mobile, fleet-footed, and he gets that tackle in just when you want him to. And obviously Thiago Silva we know all about. He's a free transfer at the end of the season. The way that he adjusts here nicely, look at this, gets a really good tackle in, goes with his unfancied foot, his left foot, shows his confidence. And this is a situation where a lot of central defenders sleep in, but they make that sort of run, but he doesn't. He concentrates really well, makes it look so easy. Thiago Silva, though, when he's in a 2v1 situation, this is what he's made his living out of, trying to show the opponent that way, and then he wants to force him so he can make the challenge. Playing a little bit deep here, of course, but he has that confidence. He just goes in and he doesn't get hurt. He deals with things very quickly, and he's been very impressive. And they're going to need to be tonight up against Giroud, of course, who we think is going to play down the middle.
And Martin, it's Thomas Meunier at right back tonight with Serge Aurier not allowed into the country. Just how big a miss is he going to be?
Well, Aurier is an outstanding player. He set up their first goal. He was the player on the night that caused Arsenal an awful lot of problems. So they'll be delighted that he doesn't play. But it's the threat that they have all over the pitch. I think Di Maria not playing as well. He's the one player that does the unexpected. And I think Arsene Wenger, we're quite happy going into the game without those two in tonight.
Thank you very much, Martin. We'll let you head off to the gantry for commentary, and we'll speak to you a bit later on. Well, in goal tonight is David Ospina. He's Arsenal's chosen keeper and in the Champions League this season, of course, and played a starring role in Paris on match day 1. We'll hear from him after the break. He's determined to prove his critics wrong.
This programme is brought to you by Heineken, UEFA Champions League sponsor.
The fight is on this month in the BTTV store.
Into the world.
They're coming back.
Throw us out of here, Mr. Zulu. You are Lord of the Apes, King of the Jungle. Tarzan. Tarzan.
Bigger than the last one.
Let's make some noise. At least I won't die alone. That's just typical.
New films available to buy or rent now.
We're going to survive. Apocalypse now.
I can travel 1,000,000 miles in a single afternoon. I see every card and every goal. Very second it happens, I miss nothing. I am a member of the world's favourite online sports betting company, and I gamble responsibly at Bet365.
Christmas menu, including the festive cheese feast and the spicy chicken winter melt. Christmas is here.
Reach for new horizons. Conquer unknown territory. Off the beaten track. Discover what it really means to be free. With the new S-Cross. Where would you go? New Suzuki S-Cross. Define your destination. With 3 years free servicing, search Suzuki S-Cross now.
Find unbelievable deals in Currys PC World's biggest ever Black Tag event. Go large with these 4K ready smart Samsungs. Huge screens, massive value from just $449. And get better than half price on this powerful Samsung soundbar with a wireless subwoofer. Only $129. Save up to £200 on these Dyson cordless vacuums, like this V6 Total Clean at $229, our lowest ever price. At Currys PC World, we start with you.
Want money back on your shop? Hell yes! At Quidco, get cash back on fashion, on beauty, on tech, on food, and even cash back on travel. Whatever you get, buy it through Quidco, get it with cashback. You could earn hundreds of pounds every year on top brands. Quidco, join now for cashback and amazing Black Friday deals.
Discover pure indulgence at Ernest Jones, where a diamond's quality is judged by the 4 C's: cut, color, clarity, and carat. How about a 5th C? Chocolate. Only Levian creates jewelry with exquisite chocolate diamonds. A unique collection at diamond specialist Ernest Jones. For moments that matter in love and life.
Find a deal that's right for you in Amazon's Black Friday sale. Now on with new deals every day.
The stuff's great, it's all really cool, but it just doesn't fit. Contractually obliged. Yeah, no, okay, sure. Save £20 on Gears of War 4 or Forza Horizon 3 on Xbox One, now only $29.99 each.
This programme is brought to you by PlayStation, UEFA Champions League sponsor.
The Europa League is back tomorrow night. Southampton take on Group K leader Sparta Prague, looking to reach the knockout rounds for the first time. That one is live on BT Sport 3 from 5:30. Man United are third in their group as they welcome Feyenoord to Old Trafford, live from 7:30 on BT Sport 2 and in 4K. Anything less than a win will leave their fate out of their hands heading into the final round of matches. Now, David Ospina starts in goal for Arsenal tonight against PSG. After some initial criticism at the start of his Arsenal career, the Colombian wants to prove the doubters wrong.
Ici, après de mon arrivée, il y a pas mal de choses qui sont dites de ma taille, et beaucoup de trucs qui sont dits, mais après, je voulais m'imposer à chaque match que j'ai la possibilité de jouer. J'ai démontré la première année que je pouvais être le gardien de Arsenal, donc je continue à travailler, je continue à profiter chaque opportunité et après on verra qu'il faut respecter une décision de la part du coach. C'est la possibilité que j'ai de jouer la Champions League. Moi, comme joueur, je voulais jouer tous les matchs. Il y a une concurrence avec Peter Cech. On a une très bonne relation. Après, il sait que je voulais jouer et moi, je sais que lui, il veut jouer tous les matchs. Donc, il y a un concurrent, il y a une bonne opportunité de jouer au Champions League, donc je dois profiter de ça. C'est un match qu'on doit prendre comme en finale. Il y a deux équipes sur le terrain qui a la qualité, que les deux équipes s'aiment attaquer, d'aller vers l'avant. Donc, je pense qu'on va avoir un match très ouvert. Donc, on espère de gagner les 3 points pour avoir cette première place.
Do you think Arsene Wenger's right to put his trust in Ospina in the Champions League, Michael? Is he repaying that faith?
Yeah, well, definitely so far, and the biggest game in the group so far was the game away in Paris, and that was his best game of the season so far, I'd suggest. So, yes, at the moment, you know, if I was a manager, I'd always play my best goalkeeper. Maybe save him for a lesser cup, domestic cup maybe, but what Arsene Wenger's decided to do, he's not letting him down so far, but I stress so far, it's, you know, it could come back to haunt him if he makes a mistake in the latter stages, but in saying that, you know, Peter Cech could make a mistake as well, so there's nothing wrong there.
Was this his best game in an Arsenal shirt, that first game against PSG?
I think that the pressure's on him, isn't it? As soon as Arsene Wenger puts him in for the Champions League, and I think he has, he's proven the faith what his manager's had in him. He's stood up to it. You know, some of these saves you're thinking, yeah, you shouldn't make them like that one is fast. But the fact is, he's the second choice goalkeeper playing in the biggest competition for the club, and so far, you know what I mean, I was one who said that he should have started Peter Cech when he made the mistakes for Olympiacos, but the fact is from then till now he's done brilliantly. But what we need to see is if Arsenal can get past this stage against a top team, like a big club, and see if he puts him in against the big club, and that's when I think the real test will come, when he goes in against a big club. I don't know, Bayern Munich, a Juventus, maybe you know, Real Madrid, Atletico Madrid, when there's a lot more pressure at that stage of the competition. It'd be interesting to see if Arsene Wenger uses him then.
Who they could still draw
Absolutely.
in the last 16, Absolutely. Even if they finish top tonight. Right, let's hear from Arsene Wenger. He is with Natalie Quirk.
Arsene, you make 4 changes from the game at the weekend. Just talk us through your thinking in your selection.
Well, you know, I have plenty of players who are available, fresh, and who are in need of games. We play every 3 or 4 days, so I try to rotate a little bit and keep the balance in the team right, and as well, depending a little bit on the opposition, what they might play, and that's why I brought Giroud back in today. Walcott had a slight problem at his toe, and overall, that's it.
We know how important it is for you to finish top of this group, but psychologically, what would it do to get a win here against PSG?
Well, you know, we are on a strong run, and you play at home for the first place against a big team. There's all there to have a desire to win, and I believe that we want to continue our run. We want to win against a big team, and everybody is on board to focus and to do absolutely well.
Do you think finishing second in the group has cost Arsenal progressing further in this competition in the past?
In the past, yes. Since they've changed the way they build the groups and put automatically the winner of a league in the group one, it has changed a little bit. You know, it's not such a massive advantage anymore. But still, you play the second game at home in the last 16, and if there is extra time, you play at home.
All the best tonight.
Thank you.
Well, with 4 in his last 4, Olivier Giroud given the opportunity to lead the line tonight. Ian, what does he need to do to prove that he's more than just an impact sub for Arsenal?
Well, I think that, like, my only problem with Olivier is that I think he's scored goals, and he's proven that he can score goals at this level and a Premier League level. I just think that sometimes when he plays as the big man, I feel that he doesn't hold the ball up. He gets knocked around too easily. Seems to be sometimes he's getting... Being the big guy that he is, I'd like to see him staying in the centre of the field, holding the ball up and linking it in with the Ozils, with the Sanchez's, with the Iwobi, doing that big man job. And I think that sometimes he lets himself down in that respect. But we've seen so far he's come off the bench and he's scored goals because he's come on and made an impact. I won't call him an impact sub. Me and Mike was talking about, I wouldn't call him an impact sub. I think, like Michael was saying, Theo's more an impact because of the pace, but he's
making an impact.
He's making an impact. Yeah. He should be more reliable when the ball goes into him. That's what I think that he needs to do a lot more of.
Well, another man there who needs a big performance tonight, Michael, Mesut Ozil, probably had his worst performance of the season against Man United.
Yeah, I mean, he's the type of player, obviously, in games like against Manchester United, when maybe you don't have, 70% of the possession like you will have at the Emirates, then it obviously doesn't suit him as much, but he's got to find a way of influencing the big games, and I've said that quite about.
Why does he have a tendency to go missing in the big games?
Well, it's naturally a little bit harder. Look at anyone's record; they'll score more goals against lesser teams. He'll have more assists against lesser teams, but the very, very best players in the world will make a difference in the biggest games. And of course, he's been great this season, done really well. Scored some big goals. This is a fantastic one. I like the way he's penetrating runs from deep. A lot of the time you'd see him just hanging around on the edge of the box, but you want to score goals, and the majority of goals are scored in that type of area. And he's obviously added plenty of goals to his game. He's always been good at assists, but again, you'd like to see him do it in the very big games.
Great run there. The thing with him, and I think that what's happened to him, especially in some of the big games where he hasn't played, and even the last two, I'd say Spurs and Man United, I think that he still does what he does. He still passes the ball and gets the ball and tries to get it full to people. I think that some of the players up front and some of the players who are playing ahead of him, they've just not played well as well. A lot of them have not played well. When he was at Real Madrid, he could get through a game where he still does his stuff, passes to... Because the players up front are playing really well, it doesn't look like he's not playing well himself. I think that some of the times he's let down by the fact that the people in front of him are not playing well as well.
Di Maria picked him out as Arsenal's main danger man, said he is world class. Right, both sides are already through to the last 16, so tonight essentially a shootout for top spot. It is winner takes all in Group A. It's all set for an explosive finish.
Brilliant finish. Cavani has scored, and Paris Saint-Germain go in front. Brilliant. Arsenal. Di Maria! Ozil and still fabulous! Money! And the race for the group end summit goes on.
This programme is brought to you by Heineken, UEFA Champions League sponsor.
With Bet Victor's Golden Goal, you get a free weekly prediction to guess the game's first scorer and the minute it's scored. You can win serious money. Okay, I've guessed the player, but what minute should I go for? Let's ask the Liverpool manager what he thinks, shall we?
Statistically, most of the goals are scored in the 45th and in the 90th minute. But actually, the average time for the first goal is the 31st minute. But this weekend, who knows? First goal wins.
In the fairground, whatever half life you have left for the olden days. You belong to the cars, come on, leave. Pull your heels from the farthest.
This is her, this is him. The new fragrances by Zadig et Voltaire.
Mayday, mayday, mayday. We're going to end up in the Hudson.
People call you a hero.
I don't feel like a hero.
Alexa, what's in the news?
Astronomers have seen what may be water vapor plumes erupting off the surface of Jupiter's moon Europa.
Alexa, do I need my umbrella today?
There is an 80% chance of rain today.
Alexa, play my rainy day playlist.
Here comes the rain again.
Experian know first steps are important. That's why the UK's most trusted credit score is now free. For everyone. Forever. Take your first step towards financial control. Sign up today at experian.co.uk.
Killed me. You with me?
Always.
Should be a blast.
Call of Duty Infinite Warfare. Available now at Tesco.
Please insert the key.
Yes, I am inserting it. Thank you. Come on.
Please insert the key.
I have inserted it, you cretin.
Incorrect starting procedure.
Right, that's it. Don't say I didn't warn you. I'm going to give you a damn good thrashing.
Guinness has always been about beer and people. And many of us have entered these gates in the footsteps of our parents and our grandparents. 258 years ago, we signed a 9,000-year lease. We have a lot more beer to make.
Mascot mayhem to enjoy half-time.
Here we go.
You just need the unbelievable taste of Domino's.
Nice one.
Order now for half-time. there's plenty to prove. Saturday.
Here's Aguero.
At midday, Burnley square up to Man City.
The right man in the right place. How about that?
And at 5, Spurs return to Chelsea.
What a goal from Harry Kane.
And painful memories of last season.
Drama, income drama.
Burnley, Man City, Chelsea, Tottenham. Exclusively live on BT Sport.
This programme is brought to you by PlayStation, UEFA Champions League sponsor.
Welcome back. We're fast approaching kick-off at the Emirates as Arsenal prepare to do battle with PSG for top spot in Group A. One of 6 live games for you this evening. Man City away at Gladbach. That one is live now on BT Sport 2. And Celtic against Barcelona live on ESPN and in 4K. Bayern lost earlier on in Russia to Rostov 3-2, and Besiktas have fought back from 3-0 down to take a point against Benfica. But it is crunch time right now in North London between Arsenal and PSG. Arsene Wenger wants his players to send out a statement tonight to their European rivals. And your commentators for this one, Martin Keown, and first, Peter Drury. Good evening.
Lindsay, good evening and thank you. It is a night in which for Arsenal and their Parisian guests to luxuriate, to wallow in the comfort of progress assured, and yet at the margins, it is a night whose nuts and bolts, hard relevance just may be enormous. For the truly aspirational in that tunnel, for the uncompromisingly ambitious, here is the chance for one-upmanship, to win the group, to make a statement, and to earn smoother passage after Christmas. Nearly 3,000 have travelled from Paris. Wouldn't have been quiet on the Eurostar today. And they are enjoying the showbiz ambience of the Emirates. A one-off cross-channel challenge. A London-Paris dash for the line. For Arsenal as they emerge on a chilly capital night. The lesson of recent history is clear. This year, do it in style. The Emirates' last pre-Christmas European night. If it goes well, the first post-Christmas will be a second leg against probably, and relatively speaking, an opponent they fancy beating. For those supporters from Paris, it is a third trip to England this calendar year. They won at Chelsea in March, they lost at City in April. They visit this stadium for the first time ever. Some 10 weeks since PSG dominated Arsenal but failed to put them away at the Parc des Princes. Celebrities in the gallery. Here's what he and you are watching together. For Arsenal, David Ospina routinely restored in goal. He and centre-halves Mustafi and Koscielny have started every Champions League game. Aaron Ramsey does play despite rumours to the contrary. Mesut Ozil, another competition ever present. Likewise Sanchez, who with Walcott omitted and Iwobi recalled, vacates the centre-forward berth for Olivier Giroud, whose right to play was pretty much indisputable. The referee is Germany's top man, Dr. Felix Brick, who has taken charge of countless European games, including English clubs, but oddly enough, never before Arsenal. He oversaw Leicester City in Copenhagen 3 weeks ago, and last Friday night he was in Leverkusen to see Leipzig leapfrog Bayern and go top of the Bundesliga.
15 Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain, 18 Nacho Monreal.
Centre-halves are skippers. Arsenal centre-halves have been unchanging in this competition. Koscielny and Mustafi, the Champions League old firm. Marquinhos and Silva, likewise for Paris Saint-Germain. Alphonse Areola keeps the Champions League clubs for them. Belgian Thomas Meunier deputises at full-back for the unavailable Serge Aurier. Marquinhos returns from a weekend rest. In the absence of Adrien Rabiot, there is a game for Grzegorz Krychowiak, and in the absence of the Argentine pair Pastore and Di Maria, the rest really looks after itself. Edinson Cavani, 7 Champions League goals against English opponents.
Arsenal, PSG, enjoy the game.
So far, the traditionally haunting month of November has been relatively benign for Arsene Wenger. Like Wenger, Unai Emery, in the grip of an engagingly competitive domestic campaign. Nice and Monaco are keeping PSG honest this year. Since returning from injury to the latter stages of a League Cup tie late last month, Olivier Giroud is scoring at better than a goal per half. Edinson Cavani was scoring at a goal per minute by 7:46 on matchday 1 in Paris. 4 in 4 for him in this year's competition so far. So, both will be on the grid for the last 16, but which will be nearer pole? Here comes the key qualifying lap. The group game which can set the context for the last 16. Winners top the group, and Arsenal know better than most that that can make a genuine difference. High-profile opponents of the type they will expect Martin to meet in the knockout stage of the Champions League on all sorts of levels. This is the sort of game where Arsenal do want to put down a marker.
Very much so. He's given the ball away straight away there. It's just interesting watching Arsene Wenger playing Ramsey in that central midfield. Says all about Arsene Wenger, because he wants to give away some of that defensive security for a little bit more flair and imagination, and I expect to see that from Ramsey tonight.
At the end of the previous European game, but who is nevertheless second pick behind Aurier, finding himself penned in early. And here is Ramsey from that deeper position to which Martin has already referred.
Well, we've seen him play for Wales, haven't we, to great effect. We know in the big games he can do it. Arsene Wenger, though, really believes in Ramsey, and we'll see if he fulfills that belief tonight.
Alex Iwobi recalled on the ball. Cavani moving it on for Matuidi. This is Maxwell from left back. They have issues on both sides of their back four to Paris Saint-Germain, with Kurzawa also unavailable tonight. Motta, and there is Verratti.
I think Maxwell and Matuidi on this left-hand side is what you expect. Maxwell is a lovely server of the ball. Matuidi will get up and down. He's very important if Arsenal are going to have a lot of the ball, but they're used to bossing possession. Interesting early on here, they're just taking the sting out of the evening and the crowd, and Arsenal really should be going and examining them a little bit and pressing to win that ball back.
Matuidi, Verratti, Giroud working hard. Step through for Arsenal by Coquelin. Sweet little touch from Ozil. Here's Sanchez. Jenkinson has gone beyond him from full back. Jenkinson has hung it up. Too deep for Giroud.
It is, but with Giroud in there now, there's something Jenkinson can do. Get down that wing, be confident. Bellerin, of course, is the #1 right back, but Jenkinson can play as well, and now's a great opportunity for him.
Matuidi. Thiago Motta. Maxwell. Matuidi. Just read by Mustafi. Here's Sanchez, about who much spoken in the 48 hours leading up to the game. Questions about whether he is being forced to play. I rather suspect in the case of Sanchez he has to be forced not to play, doesn't he?
Well, exactly. You know, I think he's actually quite a difficult player to manage. He just won't accept being rested. Arsene Wenger will probably have to send him home for a few days to see the family and keep him away from the training ground.
Emery, three-time winner of the Europa League with Sevilla. Getting his teeth into an altogether bigger competition now. And it is interesting to note also that right at the very top, France's Ligue 1 is competitive this year. That hasn't always been the case for PSG, but Nice and Monaco are ahead of them right now. There's Verratti.
Just interesting there, if you give the ball away cheaply, PSG will punish you. They've got real good quality on the pitch, you have to say. Good passers of the ball, used to keeping possession, as we've said. It's not quite the game we'd normally see in the Premier League, is it? High energy, quite physical. I think Arsenal should try to dictate with the way that they normally play in the Premier League.
Jenkins's header taken down by Motta. Looped up towards Iwobi. He had it nicked off his toe by Lucas Moura. Here's Gibbs, preferred again to Monreal tonight. Iwobi, who had quite an impact in Paris on match day 1. Sanchez. Giroud, Iwobi, taken away from him by Thiago Silva. Lucas. Gibbs got a piece of it. Krychowiak looked early. Gibbs looked over his shoulder and was glad to see that Koscielny was covering for him.
Dominic Koscielny does exceptionally well. He's as good as anybody now, reading things, pace that he has to go with it. Has a decent part now in Mustafi, and above all else, Arsene Wenger wants, of course he wants him to defend his central defenders, but he wants him to pass the ball. He won't be happy there with Mustafi giving that away.
Lucas Verratti, Cavani's interested, Koscielny has sorted it out. Spina is calm. By Maxwell. Verratti. Motta. Meunier. Quinhos. The Pole, with whom we became quite familiar during the summer. And of course had a substantial run in Euro 2016. He's followed Emery from Sevilla. Meunier, well advanced from full-back in towards Cavani. And that was reminiscent of the first minute in the Parc des Princes when Aurier from that side delivered a cross, which on that occasion he converted.
Well, Meunier, it doesn't matter who the full-back is, they're going to rain those crosses in. Make sure you're the first head on it. That run again from Cavani, good movement. Interesting listening to Michael Owen, wasn't it, before the game, saying probably as good as anybody with his movement in Europe at the moment. I'd agree with that. It's just his finishing at the end of it.
Iwobi. Ramsey. Coquelin. Mustafi. Jenkinson. Caught on his heels by Verratti. Verratti playing it through the wrong corridor for Cavani.
Well, Cavani, he makes that run and then checks away from it. It's that ball again, though, isn't it, into midfield. We talked about Coquelin really needs to protect the ball well.
Reintroducing himself bit by bit to the Champions League after a couple of years elsewhere. Start last game for Arsenal in this competition. Bulgaria. Sanchez.
Interesting, Sanchez playing on the right-hand side. Don't often see that. Usually likes playing on the left, cutting in. Iwobi's doing that job tonight.
Ramsey too much for Giroud, sorted out calmly by Maxwell. Verratti, Lucas, that's a good tackle from Ramsey. He started the game quite snappily in that position. And here's Iwobi. Run at Marquinhos, but not past him.
That's where Iwobi there has got to get his head up and pass it. Great challenge from Ramsey. There he is again.
Ramsey again, Iwobi again. That's a PSG ball.
Pretty impressed though with Iwobi.
He did start the first 2 games in the Champions League. He's come off the bench in the last 2.
Well, he's had to get in this team, hasn't he, ahead of Oxlade-Chamberlain, which is no easy feat for him. Young player coming through the ranks at the club.
And tonight, of course, as it happens, ahead of Theo Walcott, though Walcott apparently has a minor issue with a toe. He's on the bench just in case.
Well, it's some bench as well. If you look down at some of the names there, what Petr might have started tonight, but Ospina's done exceptionally well, so stick with him. Wenger believes in his players.
Koscielny. Kieran Gibbs. Followed by Iwobi. To Krychowiak. Here's Motta. Matuidi. Cavani. Eased out towards Maxwell.
He's so calm, isn't he, Maxwell, in possession, as they all are. They seem to press this button of relaxation just to keep possession. So used to dominating games in their own league.
Arsenal 17 unbeaten. PSG, though, 9 unbeaten since their uneasy start to this campaign. They lost to Toulouse on Friday the 23rd of September, and not since. They've won 8 and drawn just 1 of those 9 games, culminating the 2-0 victory over Nantes on Saturday, in which Di Maria scored and then got injured, hence his absence this evening. From a neutral perspective, that's a shame, because at his best he's a delight to watch. I don't suppose Arsenal are losing too much sleep over it.
Interesting, Verratti just sits in, doesn't he? Comes really deep, fullbacks push on, the Tweedy then comes off the line as he is now, pick them have it.
Verratti, Tweedy. Not got it back from Motta.
This is where, as a defender, you can't switch off. It's a high line for Arsenal. Cavani is going to test that.
Lucas Meunier. But it is a game, as you rightly identified, Martin, between a pair of clubs, each of whom expect to have the ball. Very often Arsenal play against a team that lets them have the ball, and likewise PSG. That's not the case tonight.
No, that's right, and it's really how you cover up when they do have possession. Have to show confidence as well to play out from the back, which Arsenal have just done.
Iwobi. Coquelin. Sanchez. It's a smart run off the ball by Ozil. Sanchez just too heavy with the pass.
Good run there from Ozil. He's got to make the difference in that position, breaking from midfield.
Sanchez stole it away from Krychowiak. Ozil, Sanchez, clear of Motta, Ramsey slithered. Sanchez went and got it back. Ran into a cul-de-sac.
See Motta there, he just wants to receive the ball on the half turn, receives it on the back pass. You think he's under pressure and then he comes out. They're good technicians.
Verratti. Meunier. Lucas. Too much for Cavani.
That's a couple of times they've overloaded Arsenal on that left-hand side.
Coquelin. Iwobi. Gibbs has gone beyond him. Iwobi's got himself. It's Alex Iwobi just overran it. Lovely ambition.
Decision making, isn't it? That's what it's about. Gibbs has made a great run for him.
There were a couple of moments there where you expected him to shoot, weren't there?
Yes, but PSG went down that right-hand side and they did leave a big hole for Arsenal to gallop into, but it's about exploiting that when you get that chance. Iwobi there just needs to use the ball just a little bit cleverer.
Marquinhos. Only 2 or 3 in the Paris Saint-Germain side who was given Saturday off with this game in mind. It certainly wasn't. Meunier didn't play then. Meunier's whipped it in. Cavani dashing to the near post, and it was whipped off his toe by Laurent Koscielny.
Well, it's quite predictable the way that they're playing. Again, the fullback getting, just wondering if he's just a tad offside there. I think he is, to be fair. Well defended though from Arsenal.
Lucas Moura at the Paris Saint-Germain corner. Whip towards Cavani, whose header was unchallenged, and threw it away for Ozil to escape. He tumbled, he wasn't fouled. Well, how alarming is that for Arsenal that Cavani was utterly unmarshalled.
Wow, it's quite unbelievable. Again, it's his movement. Arsenal looking like mannequins there.
Gibbs who ferried it away from the line.
Good job he was there, wasn't it? Look, he's standing in. There's nobody anywhere near him. In fact, it's a misheader from him.
Silva, who has the goal-bound touch,
just breaks into that space. Arsenal should have a spare man there and somebody picking up behind. It's far too easy.
Well, if you attach blame to Arsenal for their lax marking, then Cavani has to shoulder some too, because that was a better chance than he knew.
Well, this is what we're talking about, isn't it? You know, he makes good runs, and it's just the really good players have a button they press of calmness.
In by Sanchez towards Giroud. Leaks out for Meunier. By Koscielny. Ramsey. Sanchez. Mustafi.
This is where I think sometimes where Giroud, I think, is guilty of not moving enough at times. If you just look at him, cast your eye on him. Is he moving for the team? Does he lend himself to the build-up on each side? When you play Sanchez down the middle, he has that pacing behind, that movement.
Still by Matuidi. Motta. Krychowiak. Verratti. Motta. Maxwell. His 101st European club game tonight. Maxwell, the Brazilian left back.
Just happy to keep the ball, aren't they? It's quite remarkable. It just takes all that tempo out of the match.
Probably worth saying at this point, premature though it is that a goalless draw here suits Arsenal better. Here's Matuidi though, and Cavani has arrived to establish a lead for Paris Saint-Germain. Who burst from repose into telling and sprightly action. Edinson Cavani, once more, a thorn in the Gunners' side.
Well, in the build-up, it's almost as if Arsenal have gone to sleep. And Matuidi makes a really good run. Just beyond Mustafi. And there's Cavani. He's not offside, he's ahead of the game. Nobody near him. It just takes a moment of quality. Look at the way he lets it run across his body. And that man's going to finish. Certainly from there. Teasing ball in. Ospina, no chance.
So much for a goalless draw favouring Arsenal. Arsenal now have a game to chase. Edinson Cavani, as he did at the Parc des Princes, has scored the first goal. And Arsenal need a lift, and their crowd instantly recognises that.
Well, it's as if the Arsenal faithful have just woken up as well. It's all seemed too good to be true, too easy. That's what the quality players do. And suddenly they'll hurt you in a moment.
Edinson Cavani, 3 goals against Manchester City in the Champions League, 3 against Chelsea, 2 now against Arsenal. Well, they have another corner.
Yeah, their tails are up, their confidence is there. Mustafi there, losing the ball. Let's see if the marking's better for this one.
Marquinhos and Krychowiak adding feet and inches, likewise Thiago Silva. In by Lucas. Not for Sanchez, but his header is pounced upon by Maxwell. Lucas, Arsenal waiting on to the speeder. Who got rid in a hurry, and Iwobi can show some purpose. And Ozil's up ahead of him. Meunier's read the danger well.
To keep possession there when you get the ball. Iwobi again. Just interesting there, Cavani. He's in acres of space once more from that corner. Nobody sitting in the space.
So Cavani's 5th Champions League goal of this season means that Paris Saint-Germain, all ended like this, would have a 3-point advantage over Arsenal, an irretrievable 3-point advantage, because their head-to-head record over the Gunners would be better. So even if Arsenal won on the last day and Paris Saint-Germain lost, PSG would remain top. Lucas, not too easily from Coquelin. Gibbs. On by Ozil, Jenkinson. From Sanchez. Like Krychowiak via Jenkinson for a PSG throw.
I think that's what Arsenal need to see Jenkinson getting forward. He is an incredible athlete. Play with a bit of freedom. Sanchez is going to be coming inside and he can make that run on the outside. Arsenal need a reaction here because coming into this game they've had a couple of fixtures in the Premier League against Tottenham and Manchester United where it hasn't been overly convincing. So I think, you know, it's for your own belief. You want to prove that you can put a performance on. You certainly don't want to lose this match tonight.
He's just a bit nervy as well, a bit quiet, a bit flat, except in the Parisian corner, which is bouncing crazily right now.
Well, a lot of people call him for Giroud, and he's been an impact player up to now, coming off the bench. Sanchez is in the middle. I think he causes more of a threat there with his pace.
Koscielny driving through. Giroud's offside. They've not been in the game yet.
No, but they've come out very well there, just looking there, the way they hold the line. PSG defence, Giroud's got to work to get back on side. We see Cavani doing it at the other end.
Since returning from his foot injury towards the end of the League Cup tie against Reading back in the last month for Arsene Wenger, Olivier Giroud scored 4 goals in 172 first-team minutes prior to tonight. He certainly has a right to believe he's worthy of inclusion from the start, based at least on those facts and figures.
Very definitely, and Arsene Wenger, his philosophy is, you know, what's the point in having the players in the squad if you're not going to use them? It shows the ultimate belief when you do turn to your squad.
Lucas Meunier, Motta, Maxwell's on his way. Sanchez working hard as ever he did. And Sanchez is convinced that this should be a goal kick. And the German referee, after consultation, has changed his mind, apologised and awarded a goal kick.
Well, fair play to him, but again, you just saw how easily they managed to get back in behind the Arsenal defence. I would actually be much happier if Arsenal were pressing the PSG team. They've just been able to just set their stall out, play their football, and then when they give them time and space, they'll hurt you.
Iwobi. Ozil. Marquinhos with the challenge, goal kick. Just not happening in the front third for Arsene Wenger and his team.
No, but Ozil's unlucky there. He turns really well. It just comes back off him, I believe. Yeah, referee's up with play this time. Ozil signalling to his teammates behind him. Is anyone going to push up and press? That's what he wants. Just the ball in there and the movement.
Well, they say of Cavani, the classic thing to say of Cavani is that he needs a lot of chances to score 1 goal, but he doesn't half adopt the positions whereby he is involved in a lot of chances.
Well, he loves crosses, doesn't he? Just loves getting on the end of things.
Arsenal less than 40% possession at home, almost unheard of.
Well, they're happy to let PSG have the ball.
Not happy to be 1-0 down because of it, though.
It's better from Ramsey.
Good win by Ramsey. Trumped it again by Sanchez, supported wide by Jenkinson. Out by Mustafi, snatched back by Verratti. Cavani. Lovely thought, but he was offside.
You see, they're not allowing Arsenal to play and to build any attacks up, but when they can press, they will.
Gibbs. Iwobi. Ozil. Another test for Marquinhos. He passed the last one. Coquelin. Sanchez. Over the top by Sanchez for Jenkinson. Repelled by Areola. Back in by Sanchez. It's an easy read for Krychowiak. He was instantly surrounded and not fouled. Jenkinson, Ramsey, Coquelin, Sanchez.
This is where Arsenal have got to be patient, but move the ball quickly. Just 2 touches of the ball. As Wenger used to preach this, keep it on the carpet and move it quickly from side to side.
Mustafi. Jenkinson. Sanchez, Ramsey, Ozil, Coquelin, Iwobi, Giroud, Ramsey has gone to ground, and the referee is entirely disinterested. in fairness, there was no appeal at the expense of Thiago Silva.
Well, I think it's just shoulder to shoulder there. He gets his foot to it, in fact. Good decision from the referee. Better move from Arsenal. They've got that protective screen though, haven't they? Kukoviak, who sits in that midfield alongside Motta. Very clever players.
PSG, even in a more testing season, Coquelin and Motta have come together there. PSG have only conceded 7 goals in 13 Ligue 1 games. Flying limb, don't think any malice intended. Conceded 7 goals in the domestic league, and like Arsenal prior to tonight, only 3 in the Champions League. They're defensively sure.
There's good balance to their play, isn't there?
Be away. Ozil, Coquelin. Rangers done well to keep that. Sanchez. Jenkinson. His pass.
Yeah, it's unlucky, but you can see the difference. PSG getting good pressure on every single Arsenal player, really having to work to get out of his defence. Good run from Ramsey, just needs a delicate pass there into the channel for him, which he wasn't able to do.
We saw that. How calm is he? Marquinhos. Verratti.
So this is too easy now. Arsene Wenger may well change this in the second half.
What's up? Meunier, face to face with Gibbs. That's Tim, he belts it to win a corner.
Well, they've been able to get into the Arsenal final third there without really too much play. No real pressure. Another corner again.
Or it is Lucas over the set piece. He didn't play on match day 1 against Arsenal, but has started every Champions League game since. And it is to be Lucas's corner. Cavani. Darted back into the mix by Meunier. Carried out by Sanchez, who's given a nudge and given a free kick. And Marquinhos is given a yellow card.
Well, the ball is cleared, only half, and Sanchez tries to run out with it. You could say it's a bit of a cynical challenge. So certainly a long way. Yeah, he does try to take him out. Well seen from the referee.
Tomorrow, of course, is Europa League night. 5:30, BT Sport 3, Southampton in the Czech Republic, Sparta Prague against Southampton. And then from 7:30 on BT Sport 2, Manchester United must beat Feyenoord. All the highlights from right across the continent, BT Sport 2 from 10:15.
This fellow Verratti does a great job as well, doesn't he? He just takes the sting out of everything. Comfortable, really presses Arsenal when they're in possession, and then just nice and calm when he has it.
Meunier. Lucas. Verratti. Motta. Motta, who was a Champions League winner in 2006 for Barcelona. He was on the bench in the final against Arsenal that year, didn't get on in Paris. Poor fellow missed the 2010 final as an Inter player because of suspension.
I like him, he's a really good player. I don't think he's got much pace, but he's not been asked many questions in there tonight. I think they're bossing that midfield.
Jump by Kukoviak, by Lucas, who handled.
Talks about balance. Kukoviak there winning that header. His manager will be very pleased.
His CV year on year, it's more and more glittery. Terrific years with Valencia, even through a period of turbulence at that fine Spanish club when they were selling the likes of David Villa and David Silva. Kept them right up there in the Champions League mix.
Perfect performance from PSG so far.
So, Motta, Coquelin's challenge. Did damage to the attention of Felix Brich, who shows him a yellow card, which will bring with it a suspension for the last game of the group.
Well, it's a little bit high, but it's ironic because he's the one player that you want to get in there, and he will get in there to win the ball back quickly. I think he senses that they need to be more energy about them, and just going a little bit too far there.
So he won't go to Basel over the first week in December. Francis Coquelin. I would think the Swiss international Granit Xhaka, who's likely to replace him, would be very keen for a trip to Basel. So one door closes, another opens. So it's the last 10 minutes of the first half that, from an Arsenal perspective, hasn't really got going yet. Maybe now, Sanchez. Well, rather makes the point.
Yeah, but it's interesting there. Arsenal really pushed up high, forced the goalkeeper to kick that one to the central defenders, and then Arsenal can win the ball back. Okay, it could have been a better ball into the box, but they're allowing PSG to build their attacks just too easily. Force the keeper to kick it.
Iwobi. Ozil. Mustafi, who is yet to lose a game for Arsenal.
It's excellent to see the way PSG, the way that they close, their shape. Tweedy, don't underestimate the work rate that he's giving to his team, dropping back in to follow Ramsey.
By Gibbs, who hasn't played in a losing side this season. Kieran Gibbs, he's won all 9 games he's played this year. Started the last 2 in the Champions League. Real had the first 2.
Playing with a lot more confidence these days, looking much more solid. Of course, he's maturing. He's just trying to get in front of Monreal. Good competition for places, though. That's what will bring you success.
So couldn't keep it. Well, for Arsenal, actually, I've mentioned a couple of them. Laurent Koscielny hasn't lost a game since the final of Euro 2016. Enjoyed the momentum of this wave of success, but look at that, Arsenal, not an attempt yet.
Well, I think if you can actually press the ball high and get it back, you have a really good opportunity close to the opposition's goal just to win it back. And it's just been us watching PSG in possession and Arsenal watching them too.
Forward, Özil chasing, Areola off limits.
I think Özil, credit to him, is actually getting through a lot of work running into these channels. He might be looking at his teammates for a little bit more assistance, both with the ball and out.
Iwobi, purpose from him, third from Jenkinson, Sanchez, lofted up towards Giroud. Gives out number 2-1. He's got the throw. Coquelin. By Marquinhos. Not kindly for Giroud. Set it back towards Sanchez. Nudged on towards Jenkinson. Sanchez has gone to ground. No foul against Motta.
Well, Motta there is, the reading of the game is brilliant. They do work together, especially well as a team.
Gibbs. Iwobi, Giroud let it roll, and the pressure of Ramsey was sufficient that Thiago Silva had to steer it behind for a corner.
Well, that's what Ramsey's in the team for, to break from midfield, with vision from Giroud, just to let this one go as it comes in. They read it very well at the back. Thiago Silva again.
Arsenal in urgent need of a pre-half-time lift. It's a performance that needs some buoyancy. In by Iwobi, Sanchez back stick, Maxwell aware of him. Mustafi, Sanchez. Mustafi, aimed at Giroud. Down for Ramsey, crying handball against Matuidi, nothing doing. And out he rushes. Mustafi forward again. Out by Meunier, Coquelin. Bit of thrust now from the Gunners. Iwobi. Gibbs has gone beyond him. It's come back off Gibson behind for a goal kick.
Better from Arsenal though, showing a little bit of character. Not sure that was deliberate, to be fair. More shoulder than arm. Just hits him very high, doesn't it?
Needs sharpening, uplifting at the break from Arsene Wenger. His 175th Champions League game. Some fabulously vibrant nights on this ground.
I wonder whether they'll look for more pace, whether they'll change things at all. Here, Wilcock deemed not to be fit enough, but he's fit enough to be on the bench.
And the Ox, of course.
Yes.
Sanchez for Jenkinson. Horribly wrong.
He has, and that's just, he's got to just feather that into the box. You know, that's something you can work on from the training ground, but when it comes to that big moment, you've got to have that little bit of quality. He's just trying just a little bit too hard. Players should be talking to him though. I see that happening. Sanchez, in fairness, he's a youngster who's not been involved for a long time. You've got to help them.
Playing in the knowledge that he is in the shadow now of one of the current men of the moment, Hector Bellerin, long-term contract, Arsenal's right full back until hell freezes over, it seems, now the Spaniard. So Jenkinson,
of course, it's difficult.
Got his work cut out.
You know, you're getting opportunities, and you have to prove that you're worthy of stepping in.
Mustafi. Treze's got a deflection which might have discomforted Areola, but he measured it okay.
I think from that sort of angle it's really difficult to get Giroud in. If you look where this is coming in at, so many bodies there to get to that byline.
Ramsey's spread. Good ball too, Jenkinson. Ozil. Jenkinson. Ramsey. Iwobi. Coquelin. Gibbs. Shaken off it by Lucas. Stride for stride up to halfway.
I think Arsene Wenger will be saying to his team to protect the ball a little bit better in that final third. Make sure you keep it, be patient. You have to have that threat as well, of course, but you want to be patient. Above all else, Arsene Wenger wants to keep the ball. Actually, they're giving Arsenal a bit of a lesson here, but they've won it back well.
Krychowiak lost it to Giroud, and Ozil played it Alexis Sanchez. Krychowiak's challenge, penalty, right on half-time. How Arsenal needed a moment like that.
Well, we talked about trying to win the ball back high up the pitch, and Arsenal have done that here. They overplay, they win it back, and Sanchez is brilliant in this situation because he checks back, and it's a definite penalty, catches him. Krychowiak just catches him there, just the faintest of touches, it's enough for him to go down.
There is a little bit of handbags going on, a minor issue off the ball because Cavani was reluctant to allow Arsenal to reclaim the ball in order to take their penalty.
Sort of their gamesmanship, isn't it? Just to let the pressure build. Just grab that ball.
Cavani's given Ramsey a little bit.
I'm not sure it hit him on the chin, I think.
No.
Go down anyway, did he?
Probably the last meaningful kick of the half.
Well, this is
Olivier Giroud scores calmly, and Arsenal are back where they need to be. It's been a pretty plain half, but it has ended significantly with a foul by Krychowiak that enables Olivier Giroud to tie the whole thing up again.
Yes, and it was calmly dispatched. Looked very confident coming up to take this one. And will be a very different team talk now for Arsene Wenger.
It was the last kick of the half. Beautifully colourful evening. Much of the first half, though, played in monochrome. Plain black and white. Cavani converted the only chance after 19 minutes. PSG were on the cusp of a half-time lead, but then Olivier Giroud strolled up and dispatched from the spot, and so we reached the break at the Emirates with the score Arsenal 1, Paris Saint-Germain 1.
Thank you very much, Peter. Well, Arsenal struggling throughout that half. Their equaliser at the end, their first shot on goal there. We'll hear from a rather frustrated Ian Wright and Michael Owen after the break. Just like in September, it was Edison Cavani who gave PSG a 1-0 lead, 16 goals in 16 games for him, but Giroud has levelled things up for the Gunners. It is 1-1 at the break.
This programme is brought to you by Heineken, UEFA Champions League sponsor.
It's all-out
cricket with BT Sports.
A much anticipated series.
And he's got one! Oh, excellent catch. Oh, knocked him over.
Australia, South Africa, the third test, only on BT Sports.
Every single game I feel a little bit left out as I have to turn and face the stands. Still every single game I'm taking part, because I placed the bet on you. Such a team will lose this fixture, and there's nothing that you can do. Yes, it's only pretend.
That's the Spirit Steward Honey Power. You beauty.
I think that went well.
Yeah, they're really happy with their presence. I kept something back for you.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, it's just a little something.
The BT Mobile Black Friday sale has begun with our lowest ever mobile prices. For 7 days only, you can get our 3 GB SIM for only £8 a month if you've got BT broadband at home. Or our massive 20 GB SIM for just £15 a month. We've got great deals on smartphones too, like the stunning Samsung Galaxy A3, just £12 a month with no upfront cost. Hurry, don't miss our lowest ever prices. The BT Mobile Black Friday sale must end Monday the 28th of November. Switch to BT Mobile today. Call 0800 345 7345 or visit bt.com/Black Friday.
Hi, how can I help?
I go work in the morning, don't get off in the night.
Call of Duty Infinite Warfare, available now at Game.
Keep your eye on the ball. Betfair creates a cash out to let you track your live bets. And when the moment's right, take your profit.
There are talkers, and there are doers. Talkers talk. Doers do things that get talked about. Talkers think about the future. Doers are building it now. Talkers can imagine the feeling. Doers know the feeling. World leaders in 100% electric since 2010.
This program is brought to you by PlayStation, UEFA Champions League sponsor.
Welcome back. We have a Premier League double-header for you on Saturday, starting with Burnley against Manchester City at Turf Moor from midday on BT Sport 1 and in 4K. Then from 5 o'clock after BT Sport score, London rivals Chelsea and Tottenham do battle at Stamford Bridge. but here at the Emirates, it is 1-1 at half-time between Arsenal and PSG as they battle for top spot in Group A. Michael Owen and Ian Wright with me in the studio. And Michael, it looks like this curse of November is striking again for Arsenal. A really slow start, and that man Cavani again opening the scoring, but missed a couple as well as he did in Paris before that. Missed a couple of chances.
Yeah, I mean, I mentioned before the game his movement. I just love that near post run. That's such a good run, so hard to pick up, and again he makes it here. He doesn't get too much on it, but he's never going to score from that sort of angle. And then you see the space in midfield. Arsenal really, you know, for large parts they were being dominated by Paris Saint-Germain, and a pretty simple goal in the end. The Tweedy, and he just knocks in perfect pace, perfect angle. You see both players are onside. Matuidi in this instance, and then you see he's behind the ball as he plays it. Cavani, and he slides in, just gets his studs to it. It's a beautiful ball, beautiful finish, and a great start to the game for Paris. But obviously Arsenal are going to be thanking their lucky stars that they're back in it just before the stroke of half time. Absolutely.
Were concerned before the match, right? See, Arsenal didn't have a shot on goal before that penalty decision.
Well, I think that, like I mentioned about Olivier Giroud and being a focal point, linking and getting people running off of him, and it just wasn't happening. Arsenal was so lax in the first half. They weren't tight on him at all. Yeah, look, for me, Jenkinson, yes, he might have the one down the right, but Giroud has got to do a lot more to try and get involved in the play here. You've got to do a lot more to get in the play, and he hasn't done any of that in this half. Some of the times he's been too far out on the left, making runs in Iwobi's space, but now Arsenal, for some reason, they get themselves going, they put a bit of pressure. Sanchez closing down, you see Ozil coming across to close down, and then he keeps going. In the end, it's Giroud who comes in and he nicks it. And this is what I'm talking about. People are always talking about, oh, Ozil ain't doing nothing. You get him the ball and people running off of him, he creates.
Is it a penalty?
For me, I think he just catches him enough. He makes a little bit. Look at that Craig pass there. He makes a little bit of it for me. You know, I think there's a contact there. So I think that's a penalty.
Michael?
Yeah, I think it's a penalty too. I think you can just see where he's about to plant his foot, and the contact on his foot means it shifts almost 6 inches to a foot backwards, and I think that's the telltale sign that there's definitely a touch. And I think the reactions of the players as well says it was a touch. As Righty says, there was you know, he made a little bit of a meal going down and everything else, but I did think it was a penalty.
Okay, well, it looks like Arsenal are doing it the hard way once again in the Champions League. Unai Emery's side in control, in the driving seat in Group A, but that equaliser just before half-time will have given the Gunners a lift. The second half of the match.
This programme is brought to you by Heineken, UEFA Champions League sponsor.
The Europa League is real, unpredictable. With 2 games left, it's all guns blazing to reach the knockout rounds. The UEFA Europa League continues tomorrow, exclusively live on BT Sports.
Big game today, it's getting a bit tense. Take your mind off it with this great offer.
Get your mobile out.
Nice one. Still feeling a bit tense though.
Barley.
Download the Coral app and check out our great offers.
Please bet responsibly.
For rain. For snow. For performance. Formatic. Formatic all-wheel drive. Now available for C-Class.
Discover craftsmanship at Ernest Jones. Tolkovsky, inventors of the ideal cut diamond.
For over 90 years, my family has perfected a cut that unlocks diamond's true beauty.
An exclusive collection.
From our family to the beginning of yours.
Tolkovsky, the diamond specialist, Ernest Jones. For moments that matter in love and life.
We live in a world where nothing is standard. The Works SD sets its own standard. All the bits you need are on board. Great to have at hand when you're on the go or around the house. Tackle your projects fully loaded. Don't settle for anything but the original Works SD. Works. Power tools reinvented.
When it comes to healthcare, seconds can mean the difference between life and death.
For Partners in Health, time is life. We have 18,000 people around the world. The Microsoft Cloud helps our entire staff stay connected and work together in real time to help those that need it.
The ability to collaborate changes how we work. What we do together changes how we live.
Thinking about selling your car? Maybe you're already on the way to selling it via an online car buying service. Well, stop. You could always go that way, but the middlemen will take a cut before they sell the car to an auction, who also take a cut before they sell the car to a dealership. Or you can take a different route and sell it directly to us at Evans Houshall. With no middlemen to go through, we will beat the price you get from WeBuyAnyCar.com, guaranteed. Visit evanshoushall.com today for your valuation in minutes.
Dizemos não ao racismo. Nein zum Rassismus.
Nej till rasism.
Non au racisme.
Nej till rasism.
No al racismo.
This programme is brought to you by PlayStation, UEFA Champions League sponsor.
Welcome back. It's 1-1 at half-time between Arsenal and PSG. Cavani giving the French champions the lead before Arsenal were given a penalty just before half-time. Righty, let's have another look at that incident. There's a suggestion from some of the PSG players that Sanchez has dived here. Is this a definite penalty?
Well, you know what, it's one of those that, you know, it could go down as soft, but he catches his foot, and in the current climate, people go down. I think he's caught him enough. I think he caught him enough for it to be a pen. And then this is where Cavani's taking the ball, trying to buy time, maybe put a bit more pressure on Giroud, who took the penalty really well.
Is he lucky not to be sent off there?
Very lucky to
I'm not quite sure it was that bad. But
I don't think it was that bad, but his arm, that's aggressive, isn't it? You know, he could have easily went with that.
Yeah, I think if Ramsey goes down and rolls around holding his face, then he's in big trouble, and that's the sad thing, really. That, you know, you're almost encouraging players to go down. You know, you shouldn't have to do that. The referee should act and obviously issue a card if he's seeing that, because, you know, as I say, you're almost encouraging that you have to go down, hold your face, otherwise there's no action.
what do you want to see in the second half, Ian?
I'd like to see Arsenal they're playing the eye of the tiger out there. They ain't got the eye of the tiger, but what I'd like to see is a little bit more intensity from Arsenal all over the park.
Okay, well, Arsenal did not have a shot on goal before that penalty. Right, he wants the eye of the tiger in the second half. Let's hand you back to Martin Keogh and Peter Drury.
Thank you, Lindsay. If it does end 1-1 tonight, that clearly means that head-to-head Arsenal and PSG are identical. They'd have 11 points each. Arsenal would lead the group going into the final games because of their superior overall goal difference. Those 6 goals they got here against the Ludogorets would suddenly be of increased value, and it would mean that on the final day they would simply have to match the result that PSG get at home to Ludogorets themselves. PSG would have 3 goals to make up. We'll cross that bridge as and when we get to it. But it would take away all complications, Martin, if Arsenal could get onto the front foot and
yes.
win it.
Well, of course, though, I'd make PSG favourites there. If Arsenal have beaten Ludogorets here 6 and they're at home as well against the same team, then they'd probably do something similar. But a lot of football before then. I think that'd have been interesting to be a fly on the wall in the Wenger dressing room. He's very calm, of course, but surely they're going to go and press the ball and compete more against PSG and just not let them dictate as they did in the first half.
Up high by Ospina, on by Coquelin. Sweet touch from Giroud. Ozil. Sanchez running away from Motta. Jenkinson is wide of him. Sanchez has played it in towards Giroud. Up by Marquinhos. Verratti caught on it. It's a foul.
Significant though, Ramsey pressing the ball. Nice interchange with Giroud. It's just showing there, Verratti there just making the most of the challenge and the contact. He wants to be fouled there. Back to goal. Sorry, facing his own goal, under pressure. Already you see Ozil now, look, pressing the ball, forcing the keeper to kick it long.
That obliges. Arsenal have the ball back. Ramsey, Gibbs. There's a tackle from behind by Lucas.
I'm impressed with Lucas and Matuidi. They're wingers, but they're quite happy to defend.
Mustafi, Sanchez, Jenkinson, he's got away from Maxwell here. Ball threatened to get away from him. He has to settle for a throw, wielded him by Matuidi.
Just a little bit behind him there, wasn't it, Jenkinson? I think Jenkinson's just got to go out there and free himself up and attack and get down that right wing.
Pass he wrapped out.
Well, he was off balance, wasn't he, again? Just manages to accomplish the pass.
Motta. Meunier, goal side of Gibbs, so Koscielny had to do his thing again.
Koscielny excellent there. It's a definite foul on him. Just the arm coming across. See it there.
Koscielny, who hasn't lost a club game, hasn't lost an Arsenal game, Laurent Koscielny, since they went out of the Champions League last season at Barcelona.
Well, it's a good record to have, isn't it? Winning mentality.
Of course, he was absent for the opening game here against Liverpool. That's the reason why.
But he was coming back from an extended break, wasn't he, at that point? Wenger giving his players a month off each in the Euros.
Iwobi. Ramsey. Maxwell. Matuidi. Motta. Arsenal do feel sharper into the challenge at the start of the second half.
Definite change.
James has kept the ball really well. Sanchez. Gibbs. Iwobi. Lifted in towards Giroud, out by Marquinhos. This is a much more defined beginning to this section of the game from Arsenal.
I think it's you play with much more certainty when you know you're going to go and press, and when you get the ball, you're in the same mode. You just play from there with that tempo, and the crowd then is switched on, energised by Arsenal's performance. Then
it was a blurry first half, much more definition about the early moments of the second. Will be imparting pressure on Verratti.
I think though you've got to really work together as a unit, which is something that PSG have done extremely well, and certainly the first half.
Jenkinson. Ramsey. He was toying with trouble then. Koscielny is as well, and he's lost it to Lucas, who looks to play it in here for Cavani. Coquelin cross, free kick given. The referee's dipping into his pocket again. He is showing a yellow card to Laurent Koscielny.
Well, it just takes a liberty here, but look at how Lucas is on it in a flash. That's what we're talking about, pressing. Gets his reward, he gets a free kick in the end.
Although they are without Di Maria, Paris Saint-Germain, they have a pretty talented cue for a set piece of this nature, at the head of which Lucas Moura, over his shoulder Edinson Cavani. One deft, the other forceful. Selena has set a wall of 5. 5+. Jenkinson's come out of it. Lucas remeasures. Cavani poised too. It is Lucas, it's hit the crossbar.
Well, that extra wall, as you talk about, is just blocking Ospina's view of that ball. And that is a brilliant execution. Look at this, he just puts it in the gap. The goalkeeper planted to the ground. And only the woodwork. He sends it out a mile, doesn't he? Really brings it back in.
Technically brilliant to get that shape on the ball. Took the long route to the frame of the goal. Challenge from Gibbs now. A rattling moment for Arsenal, as well as for their furniture. Took a circuitous path, left at the pub, right at the church, and ended up hitting a crossbar.
Well, it nearly left the ground, didn't it? It was went out so wide.
Here's Meunier. Made by Gibbs. Verratti. Maxwell gets it in. Matuidi. Maxwell. Coquelin stopped his task. Motta. Maxwell. What a time to measure that. Mustafi away from in front of Cavani. Nicked on by Ozil. And here's Sanchez with Giroud pulling away. Scampers away from Verratti, who had a handful of his shirt. Verratti is booked, and he now faces a suspension for the last group game of PSG.
Well, it's just clever, isn't it, from Verratti? He knows Sanchez is going to look at him to tug him back. Just takes one for his team there.
Verratti, like Giroud, was sent off in the final moments of the game in Paris in September.
Well, he tried with his left foot, his right foot, and then in the end he dragged him back.
Sanchez. Aimed it at Giroud, snatched out as far as Ramsey. Ospina, protected by Giroud, taken on by Gibbs. It's a good tackle this time from Verratti.
This is where Arsenal now have to press and get this ball back, put them under pressure, win it.
Was a good win by Gibbs. Through by Iwobi, really important read by Marquinhos. And now Matuidi's on his way and Cavani's up ahead of him and Motta's through the middle. Edinson Cavani kept it from Mustafi, lent away from Ramsey. Drove a shot against the outrushing Koscielny and Ramsey can clear.
It's open game now. Excellent defending there from Arsenal, getting back in numbers.
It's terrific from Ozil, although the crowd is enraged by Ramsey's decision to go back, not forwards.
Well, exactly. The fans, they've been brought up on some good football here. Educated by Arsene Wenger, they want to attack at all times.
Iwobi. Sanchez rolled on for Ramsey, rolled on for Jenkinson, striding away from Matuidi, aimed it at Sanchez. It's come here to Olivier Giroud. Marquinhos in the way. Much more intense game now. Ozil. Sanchez did terrifically well. Did enough to win a corner.
Yeah, and this environment that you create now, the atmosphere changes, makes it a lot easier to play. Jenkinson has looked under pressure. Suddenly, it's an inviting ball for him, and he puts a great cross in, which he was unlucky with. He'll encourage him as well because he can run, but it's just at the end of all of that, putting in a decent ball, and that's unlucky.
Starting to happen for Arsenal. Ozil's corner, Giroud rising. Sanchez toying with Maxwell and winning another corner.
I think this is what PSG were expecting in the first half when you come to the Emirates.
Worth staying up for now. Bright eyes. Ozil's delivery by Meunier. Gibbs cross repelled by Lucas. He's come closer than anyone to scoring in his much improved second half. Coquelin.
Important that you win that ball back there, that PSG don't do a counter-attack on Arsenal. Balance to their play is needed.
Ozil. Koscielny. Sanchez. Jenkinson again. Beyond Iwobi. Ramsey! Had not a clue, and Alphonse Areola had not a chance, and Arsenal have come from behind to lead.
Well, it's a ball in from Jenkinson as well, and Arsenal, listen, they get lucky, but they deserve that luck, and it comes out of the tempo, the new tempo at the start of this second half. Ramsey's shot deflecting there. Verratti, I mean, listen, you're coming back there, you just don't expect the ball to hit you in that area, and actually, it's a great finish from an Arsenal point of view. Arsene Wenger will be delighted with that.
He'll take that, he'll take anything. He will wish the ground would swallow him up.
I think the crowd as well have played their part in that goal. Certainly, of course, you have to give the crowd something to cheer about and to get behind, and it's just basically a bit of hard work, grafting, putting the opposition under pressure, and Arsenal got lucky.
A penalty on half-time, an own goal on the hour, and Arsenal have the advantage they craved and are top of Group A.
This is where he wants
a blank half hour,
yeah,
and he wins his group.
Yes, but this is about now the team management now. You know, they're in front, let's see some quality. Same tempo, of course. I think Arsenal were just guilty of showing too much respect in the first half to PSG.
Good win by Sanchez. Wind in the sail now. Ramsey, Jenkinson. Sort of refound their instinctive ball movement now. Ozil. Jenkinson. Out by Silva, down by Ozil. Twisting is Ramsey. He won't give it up lightly. Cleared by Marquinhos. Reclaimed by Mustafi. Coquelin. Sanchez starting to play for fun again.
He is. Just interested, really. Looking at the way that PSG on that right-hand side played really well, didn't they, Meunier? Now it's Jenkinson.
Iwobi. Ozil. Snatched out by Krychowiak. Thiago Motta strides away for Paris Saint-Germain, who need some relief here. Verratti. Cavani. Lashed a bit, neither one thing nor the other.
He's gone for goal of the season there, hasn't he? Such a long way out.
It's a mood game, isn't it? It is a mood game, and Arsene Wenger at half-time has changed the mood. And Arsenal have a lot more of the ball now. And a lot more reason for satisfaction.
Well, it feels like a proper performance from Arsenal, competing all round the pitch. More desire.
Lucas. Cavani's got goal sign. And Ospina has hold of the ball. And Unai Emery is not alone in believing that Cavani might have had a penalty here, because Koscielny tightened his back.
Well, first of all, it's great movement again from Cavani. Well, I think he just takes a dive there. He gets the other side. He knows he can't get to the ball. Very theatrical the way he falls.
Motta. Verratti.
Can't switch off though, can you, with Cavani for a moment? He really is. I mean, Arsenal got a very high line, and he's testing it.
Lucas. Protection from Coquelin. Nowhere for Ramsey to go. Slipped through by Krychowiak. Motta had a touch, so did Cavani. In step Koscielny. Krychowiak. Verratti took it off Krychowiak's toe, and then went himself here, Verratti. And it came back to Lucas. Meunier.
They're starting to show a little bit, aren't they? PSG just pushing forward that little bit more. Just giving Arsenal a little bit of taste of what they've got.
Oh, it's a lovely exchange. Lucas with Motta, who just tumbled.
Well, I think he's looking to dive there as well. It's something you wouldn't want to give away a free kick again, looking at what Lucas did the last time.
Cavani. Up towards Cavani, header away here for Jenkinson.
It's interesting that you're going to give them time and space. If Cavani runs and he makes those two things together, it's quite a combination. So Arsenal, really important they keep dominating that midfield as they've done the second half. Sitting off a little bit here.
Verratti. In by Motta. Towards Cavani.
There is again Cavani pulling off the shoulder. Given a corner. Yeah.
25 minutes to play, an impending PSG substitution. We're about to see Hatem Ben Arfa, remember him? But not yet. Lucas with outswing. Aimed at Krychowiak. Gathered by Sanchez. Rolled hurriedly to Ozil. Kept for Iwobi. Coquelin. Giroud. It's Krychowiak, and Lucas has played it early.
Game's just getting a little bit too loose for Arsene Wenger's liking. Just looking at Cavani here, yeah. Good Arsenal line.
Well, it is a game-chasing change that PSG make now with the withdrawal of a holder in Krychowiak and his replacement by a smart ball user on his day, Hatem Ben Arfa, who played his last home game in English football 2 years ago today for Hull against Tottenham, November 2014. He has scored a goal on this ground for Newcastle in March of 2012 in defeat. And they needed to score again now. Ramsey. Good strong challenge by Marquinhos, but Giroud got it back. Gibbs. Iwobi. Ozil. Sanchez. Iwobi lost his bearings. Now came Ben Arfa.
I think it's apparent that one or two of the Arsenal players not really sure whether they should actually commit and keep attacking. Sanchez there calling for calm. Jenkinson perhaps could have got down the right-hand side a bit earlier. Gibbs not wanting to get forward.
Meunier. So much for Ben Arfa, who's new to Paris Saint-Germain. Recent acquisition from Nice.
This is the penalty appeal, isn't it? Just takes a dive there for me.
Just another reminder that we're back into the Europa League tomorrow. Southampton first on, they're at Sparta Prague from 5:30 on this channel, BT Sport 3. Manchester United follow on BT Sport 2 at Old Trafford against Feyenoord. That'll be a noisy occasion, and the highlights of all the games from around Europe, 10:15, also BT Sport 2. Matuidi. Good front challenge from Mustafi, out by Iwobi.
Excellent, wasn't it? That's what you need from your central defender. Read the ball, make that clinical challenge.
Sanchez saw Giroud. Silva was aware, and Sanchez is infuriated because the referee blocked his run. Quarter of the game to play. Ben Arfa.
I think it's important as well that Ramsey, never mind what you do with the ball, it's being that compact as well, and the defensive duties. Ozil buying a free kick just to take the pressure off Arsenal. Definite foul.
It is he who will have to content himself with second place in the group. But an equaliser for Paris Saint-Germain would put them in the driving seat. Giroud's offside.
Oh, that's very close.
A
yeah, very close. We talked about Giroud offering himself to the fullback on each side. He certainly does it here. Look, he runs back. Referee just about linesman gets that right. That's the sort of run, though, that you're looking for from Giroud.
Lucas, good run, held up by Gibbs, supported by Maxwell. Motta. Sanchez away from Meunier.
Yeah, he's having to work hard for his team.
Thiago Motta got plenty of it.
I think Ospina will be quite happy with these long-range efforts that they've been restricted to. Motta here maybe losing patience. I think Arsenal maybe though might want to get a little bit tighter to Lucas. He seems to be getting a bit more space on this right-hand side. He's coming in off the line.
Silva. Ben Arthur. Lovely feed from Hatem Ben Arthur. And nick it through for Cavani. Stolen out for Sanchez, who was caught on the ball by Verratti. And Lucas lifts it in, and Matuidi was round the back, and how important it was that Carl Jenkinson got a piece of it.
Well, very important, and he improvised really well there. Difficult ball to deal with. He's growing in confidence, the young man.
Verratti.
Ball is whipped in. Just awkward for him, just gets his knee on it. Dealt with that very well.
90 League Cup minutes against Reading, 90 Champions League minutes in Bulgaria, 84 Premier League minutes at Old Trafford for Carl Jenkinson. And now this.
He's coming back though, isn't he, from a serious injury, cruciate ligament. Did very well in his first year at West Ham.
Meunier. Skews nicely into the arms of Ospina, whose part in this Champions League group ought not to be understated. It was a wonderful personal performance from him in Paris in September.
Well, and against Ludogorets as well, there were some fantastic interceptions. He's very good in a 1v1 and reads the... Arsenal play a high line these days, and he's right on the edge of that box there, dealing with that ball over the top. Arsenal now just allowing them, PSG, to have the ball. I'm just wondering at energy levels whether Wenger might want to make a change. Coquelin sitting on a booking.
From the line is that change is imminent. We'll have to see Granit Xhaka.
I promise I wasn't looking, I didn't see that, but here he is coming on.
Verratti bullied by Giroud. Ramsey, Giroud. Sanchez, lifted in by Sanchez. Ramsey was so close to applying the telling touch.
Well, that's what Ramsey's in there for, because he's going to make that run from deep. Good play from Sanchez, just cuts back inside and whips it. Just moving away from Ramsey there, but wins it back especially well to begin with. Ramsey, a good night, the boy. Wenger will be pleased with that. He's coming back from a long spell out, injured with his hamstring.
Verratti, Meunier, aimed it at Cavani, very well played by Ospina on the very toe of the Uruguayan.
Well, it's good play, isn't it, from PSG, and it puts this ball in, and it just tests the bravery of Ospina. He's onto that in a flash.
Couldn't spill it, could he?
No.
To cling on.
Certainly did. He's brave there, though.
Sanchez threading one through for Ozil. Last quarter of an hour.
Ball is up the other end of the pitch. Cavani. He's not even bothering to stay inside. He just stays in an offside position, waiting for the play to get back to him. He's only interested in being on the last defender.
Ben Arthur. Maxwell. Across towards Ben Arthur, and Gibbs had to be wary.
Well, Arsenal now sitting off a little bit. It's a gamble.
Ben Arthur. Lucas with the hit, it's in!
the initial ball in. It's just Ben Arthur's come on, and he's just trying to put it into that back area. Look, he just pulls off with Jenkinson, and he gets the touch, and Arsenal get punished. Own goal. Anything in that area, though, if you can't see your opponent.
He is replaced by Granit Xhaka. 2-2 favours PSG. Head-to-head away goals means that they get ahead of Arsenal in the as-it-stands table, despite having an inferior goal difference.
Well, there was a warning, wasn't there, in some of those early set pieces. We saw that. Cavani was free on a couple of occasions. Marking in the box. Crucial.
Just to confirm, if the game does end in a draw, regardless of 1-1, 2-2, 3-3, it goes to the final day. Nothing is definitive tonight, but it stacks itself in Paris Saint-Germain's favour, especially since they finished with a home game and Arsenal travel to Basel. Sanchez, his first touch. Jenkinson's had a much better second half.
Well, he'll be disappointed though with his marking there, as his manager will be.
I was going to say offensively. Koscielny. Gibbs. By Silva. Here comes Lucas, and if he can feed Cavani, Cavani is on his way here from inside his own half. Edinson Cavani tried the elaborate, and Ospina was equal to him.
I don't even think it's actually on target.
He was onside, Cavani, certainly, because he started the run from inside his own half. Here is Sanchez. Aimed back for Ramsey, who had a hit. Sprinted wide.
Worth a try from there. Just looking at the shot in from Ramsey. It's a well target. This is Cavani's run from deep. Well, he times his run brilliantly, but look at this. I don't think it's on for the angle. We were right behind that. Looked like it was going wide.
One of the smallest keepers in the world.
Well, Theo Walcott wasn't good for 90 minutes tonight, but he is good for the last 10 or 11. As Arsenal chase a goal to rechange the dynamic of the group.
Well, I think at 2-1 Arsenal just sort of sat off a little bit too much, and just a period when PSG came right back into the game, and of course that forced the corner. If you don't pick up correctly in the box, you pay the penalty.
Maxwell, Cavani. Covered again without alarm by Ospina.
I'll tell you, if he could have the finishes to accompany the runs that he makes, then he might be looking at the best striker in never mind European football, in world football. He's got some pace on him as well to get in that easy behind Koscielny.
Arsenal substitution. Not subject to pace. That's Oxlade-Chamberlain. Place of Carl Jenkinson. And that goal being replaced by 15, Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain. Indication of ambition. 2-2 Chamberlain. And of course it was he who delivered so deliciously for Giroud at Old Trafford.
It certainly was. Arsenal really looking for that winner now.
Off the back of an identical change by Arsene Wenger. Oxlade-Chamberlain came on for Jenkinson inside the last 10 minutes then. Xhaka. Ozil. Sanchez. Ozil. Came Marquinhos. Motta. Ben Arthur given away to Ramsey, who breaks the challenge of Verratti. Has his ankles taken away from beneath him by Motta, but the referee saw no foul. And Paris Saint-Germain have sprung forward on the counter with Ben Arthur. And now Lucas. Cavani! Jesus Christ. Inches away. He should have scored.
Right, I mean, listen, he makes that chance himself, because Lucas, he knows Cavani wants to get on the end of everything. Look at this for a ball that he puts in there. Well, look at Cavani, look at the run he makes. In behind, just about staying on side. And for me, he's just got to hit the target there. Obviously, it's in the back of the net, but he keeps on missing.
That was the moment that might have made the difference. It's compelling, this, because both feel obliged to try and win it.
He's kind of a throwback, isn't he? Old-fashioned, the way that he is with these crosses.
Spinner away from Matuidi. Granit Xhaka on the turn. Sanchez. Xhaka. It's a hell for leather football match now. There's little point in being conservative. Ozil. Compelling entertainment, which couldn't always be said of the first half.
Well, Arsenal now got the players on the pitch to win this game. Sanchez down the middle, playing as a centre forward alongside Giroud.
Oxlade-Chamberlain, Giroud's offside.
Again, the defence moves up nicely. He's got to work to stay on side. It's a test for Giroud's match fitness, isn't it?
At the margins for Arsene Wenger. Not done and dusted tonight if it finishes this way. But Arsenal have to travel to Switzerland. Paris Saint-Germain have the group make weights at home on the 6th of December. Ozil. Ramsey. Ozil. Meunier, beautiful clean tackle.
Excellent tackle, isn't it?
Ben Arthur. Verratti. Ben Arthur. Over to Xhaka. Sanchez. Marquinhos partially out. Back in by Walcott. Taken clear by Meunier. That back forward by Gibbs. Welcomed in by Sanchez. Sweet ball towards Ramsey. Kept from it by Marquinhos, whom he fouled.
Great ball from Sanchez with a reverse pass. There it is there. Ramsey trying to get onto it. I think this shape now that Arsenal have got Xhaka there in the midfield. Ramsey just slightly in front of him, two up top. Ozil's come out onto this left-hand side. I don't think I've seen Arsenal play with two strikers since the Bergkamp and Henry days. I was playing myself then.
Nice little bit of nostalgia. 5 minutes to play. Have done things late-ish in this group. Sanchez got their equaliser in Paris within a quarter of an hour of the end. Problem here for Meunier. Full back is a problem area for Paris Saint-Germain at the moment. A couple of the 6 against Ludogorets were inside the last 10 minutes. Ozil got the winner in Bulgaria right at the very end. PSG got their winner at Basel last time out, also in the last minute. Lifted up high by Verratti, awkward for Mustafi. Cavani. Verratti. Motta. Lucas. Silva, Matuidi, Lucas.
Arsenal competing again, aren't they? Just happy to keep their shape. A bit more pace on there for Arsenal. They can win it in this area and counter-attack.
Marquinhos. Straight wide for Meunier. Catched him play well. His cross, topped by Ospina. And Arsenal are in a tearing rush here. 2.5 minutes to score the goal that would change it. It's not going to happen that way.
Well, if the youngster is right, he's got so much pace there, you think he'd have gone that way. I think he's saying there, look, go right, 2v1.
PSG substitution, Lucas.
Well, Lucas may or may not want to claim the Paris Saint-Germain equaliser. On his way off here. His was the goal-bound header, but Iwobi certainly had the scoring touch.
They might have claimed their man of the match because a real thorn in the Arsenal side. I don't think Iwobi could do too much about that. They used to say to us as youngsters growing up, if they can see your number, your opposite number, and you couldn't see him, you were in big trouble, and that's what happened to Jenkinson.
Here goes Oxlade-Chamberlain, looking for an Old Trafford repeat here. Oxlade-Chamberlain, up by Silva, down by Ramsey, chased up by Xhaka, brought away by Hesse, the substitute, and now Verratti's on his way. Hesse in one direction, Cavani in the other.
He was there.
It's Hesse.
Left foot.
He stood his ground.
It's even difficult now. What are we now? The 88th minute to call a winner. It is the competition though of late goals, isn't it?
Oh my God!
Himself the tangle.
So these are average players, so average.
There he is, Hesse, who arrived in the summer from Real Madrid. He was on the bench for last year's final.
What's your rule up there? Lineups. That's what I done.
Oh, read by Silva.
Press. Look, no pressing, look. Xhaka's on his own. No pressing. Sanchez. Set up the draw.
Tweedy.
Started off 4-2-3-1, Cochran, Ramsey.
3 stoppage time minutes.
Ramsey, it doesn't even be there.
The way things are, it would appear that Arsenal are going to have to do it the hard way again in the last 16. Listen, Paris Saint-Germain, if they do win the group, might get unlucky. They could get Real Madrid or Bayern Munich. But Verratti, Hesse! Terrific challenge again from Koscielny.
Smile on his face there, rightly so. Hesse just nips in behind him. Look at this for
Verratti. Cavani's fallen over. This is all about Paris in the spring and the possibility of a second leg at home in the Parc des Princes. The advantage of what may be a more benign draw.
Depends who it's against, of course. If it's Real Madrid or Bayern Munich, doesn't matter where you're playing.
Balance of possibilities and probabilities forward by Motta. Oxlade-Chamberlain had to beat Matuidi.
He's done well there at right back, hasn't he? Oxlade-Chamberlain. Good pace there for the boy.
Go 3-4-3
he was a midfield player as a youngster. He's got that versatility about him.
Well, Arsenal have got a minute to get the ball up to the other end. Paris Saint-Germain doing a very good job of penning them in.
Well, Emery, the manager there, shouting the instructions. I think he's happy now for his team just to keep it.
Started out for Giroud, but Arsenal can't escape.
3-4-3 up to right wing back.
Nor this evening will they be able to escape
and play Bellerin as a
the
right
truth,
centre back.
which is that they are likely now to come second in the group. And all the consequences that follow. Paris on top. Arsene Wenger, a shade of grey. Unai Emery with the advantage of a high-scoring draw, which was the minimum PSG sought tonight. They had a lead through Cavani. They lost it when Giroud converted from the spot just before half-time. Arsenal had an advantage when Verratti turned past his own goalkeeper, but then a quarter of an hour and a little bit more after that, Alex Iwobi got a nudge in front of his keeper, and PSG had the parity that they required. And the final score at the Emirates, which suits Paris a whole lot more than London, Arsenal 2, PSG 2.
Thank you very much to Peter and Martin. So 2-2 in the air, and PSG in complete control. It looks like Arsenal heading towards that runners-up spot once again in the Champions League. Ian, does that feel like a defeat?
Yeah, it does really. When they're going into the game knowing a draw, maybe a 0-0 draw, 1-1 draw, whatever could have